Hey, Year 10. Now, I've done some practice with um, factorizing and solving for quadratics. Now we're going to do some application, which is in 5G. Uh, the main thing we're going to be doing, as I've got written up here, is we're going to be substituting info into formulas that we already know and then solving for the unknowns. Okay, so that solving is going to be done the same way as what we did last lesson. And the formulas that we already know, for example, it's talking about here the area of a triangle. That's something that we might know already. Uh, okay, so let's have a look at our first example. A triangle has an area of 9 meters squared and its height is twice as long as its base. Find the dimensions of a triangle. Firstly, we're looking at the area, so let's write down what the area of a triangle actually is. So the area is half times base times height, whatever those lengths are. Alright, now it's telling us that its height is twice as long as its base. Okay, so a piece of information that I've been giving is its height is twice the base, so that will be 2 times the base. Yeah. And is there any other information that we've been given? The area is 9 meters squared as well. Okay, so the area is going to be 9. So you can write down information like that to kind of help you a little bit. But mainly what we're going to be doing is substitution. So I've got this formula here. I know that A is going to be 9 and H is going to be 2B. I just want to put that sort of stuff in there. So area of 9, half stays the same. B, it didn't say anything about B, so B can stay the same. And we have H as 2B. Okay, so we've substituted all that stuff in there. Let's see if we can simplify this now. So it looks like we have 9 equals, now half times b times 2 times b, the half and the 2 are going to come together and make 1, and then the b times b gives us b squared. So there we go, so 9 equals b squared. Okay, so all we want to do now is find out what b is. Okay, because it asks to find the dimensions. So b is the base, and once we find the base, we might be able to find the height. We'll see. So this is b squared though. We don't want b squared, we just want b. So we're going to take the square root of it. So I'm going to switch sides here. B is going to be equal to, remember when you square root, you have a plus and a minus answer. So it's going to be plus and minus the square root of 9. So the base is going to be plus and minus 3. Except remember the base, that's a length, isn't it? You can't have a negative length. So we don't actually need that negative bit there. Okay, so base is actually just 3. Okay, we've already found that, so now we can hopefully use that information to work out what the height is. Alright, now, remember from before, we had this rule here. So the area was 9 meters squared. We've worked out that the base is 3. And the height, that's what we're trying to find out. Do you see how in this little rule here, the only letter we have is H? So if you've only got one letter, you should be able to solve for that letter. So what we have here is 9 equals 3H on 2. Okay, because half times 3 is 3 on 2, and then 3 on 2 times H is 3H on 2. We just need to solve for this H. So let's get rid of this 2 and this 3. So we should have 18 equals 3H, which means that H equals 6. Now there's one problem with my answers so far. They're just numbers. We need to give some context to this. So it asks to find the dimensions, and the dimensions are measured in meters. So the base is 3 meters and the height was 6 meters. And we're done with that one. Okay, let's go to the next one. The product of two consecutive numbers is 72. Find the two numbers. Seems like they haven't given us much information here. I think this might be reasonably hard to start with, but we want two numbers that we don't know, and those numbers are in a row, aren't they? So the first number that I don't know, I'm just going to say that's x. And the next number would have to be x plus 1 because it's just the next number along. Consecutive means the next one. Okay, so that's our first number. Our next number is going to be x plus 1. But it said the product of the two consecutive numbers. Product means times. So that means if this first number times the second number gives 72. So just from this little sentence here, I've come up with a rule. We need to find these two numbers though. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to expand this out and see what we get. So it'll be x squared plus x. And I might move the 72 to this side as well. Now, do you see how this here is really, really similar to what we had the other day? If we factorize this, we're going to be able to then find out what x equals, which is what we need. Okay, so I want to do the factors of a times c that add to make b. Okay, so negative 72. Factors of negative 72 that add to make 1. Okay, so to get negative 72, that might be minus 7 plus 8, because 7 times 8 is 72, and that would work for us. So x squared minus 7 plus 8 because we want the positive. Minus 7x plus 8x minus 72 equals 0. Now we can do our factorizing by grouping. So we'll have x minus 7. Common between these two is 8. X minus 7. And now we put those two together. So we've got x plus 8, x minus 7. That equals 0. So if we want to solve, we're going to have x equals minus 8 and x equals 7. And that was from making x plus 8 equals 0, and that means x is going to be minus 8, and from x minus 7 equals 0, x is going to be 7. Alright, so we've got two potential answers here. So let's see the two consecutive numbers. Let's just take x as 7 for now. If x is 7, that's our first number, which means our next number is going to be 8. That gives us 72. Yep. If we use negative 8, and the next number along is going to be minus 7, that also gives us 72, doesn't it? Okay, so our two consecutive numbers could be it could be 7 and 8, or it could be negative 8 and negative 7. It works for both. So that is our answer just there. Alright, let's go to the next one. Alright, a mother's age is currently the square of her daughter's age. Mother's age is the square of her daughter's age. So I'm going to write that down as a little bit of a sum or an equation. Mother's age is equal to the square of the daughter's age. Okay, so M would represent mother's age, D would represent daughter's age. In 24 years' time, the mother will be twice as old as her daughter. Okay, so the mother's age in 24 years would be that. The daughter's age in 24 years would be that, because it's current age plus 24, current age plus 24. And it said that in that time, the mother will be twice that of the daughter. So if we want to make them equal, we'd have to times the daughter's age by 2. Okay, so in 24 years, the mother will be twice as old as her daughter. So if they're equal, we need to times the daughter's side by 2. Okay, let's have a look at this side and maybe just put it all together or expand this out. So we've got m plus 24 equals 2d plus 48. There we go. Now that's going to change too, because we can move just the normal numbers together. So we can have m equals 2d plus 24, because we took 24 from this side and took 24 from that side. So we have a little rule here, but we're still struggling to solve it because we've got a d and an m. Okay, but we also have this other rule over here. So what I might do, instead of writing m here, I'm going to put d squared there because they're equal. So we've got d squared equals 2d plus 24. Let's put all this on one side, and then I think we're going to be able to solve this because it's going to look the same as what we were working with earlier. There we go. See how that's common to what we've been doing before? Alright, so we want to factorize and then solve for d. So, we want the factors of a times c that add to make b. So factors of minus 24 that add to make minus 2. Alright, so that's going to be minus 6 and plus 4. Because minus 6 times 4 is negative 24. Minus 6 plus 4 is minus 2. Plus 4. There we go. So now we've got those two groups. And they ended up being the same, so we're all good. Put these two together. There we go. So let's now solve. So d minus 6 equals 0, so d is 6. D plus 4 equals 0, d is minus 4. Is it possible for a daughter to have, for anyone to have the age of minus 4? No, you can't have a negative age, so that's not what we want. We've worked out what the daughter's age was to start. Because we've worked out the daughter's age, we can now work out the mother's age as well. So if the daughter's 6, the mother is 36 using this rule over here. So hopefully that helped out a bit. That might have taken a little bit long. If you need a hand, let me know. Otherwise, go through those questions that I've got listed for you. Thanks, guys.